Guys, recently Cabinet Committee on Security has approved for the Brahmos extended range missile for the Indian Navy. It is a very much important development for the Indian Navy. If you talk about Brahmos missile, it is a supersonic cruise missile and it will be used for the warship. Around 200 Brahmos missile will be delivered to the Indian Navy. If you talk about its important feature of the Brahmos, it has extended version uh, and its strike ability is around 400 to 500 kilometer, and there is improvement as far as precision strike is concerned. Now we are going to talk about the important features of the Brahmos. It is a joint venture between India and Russia. If you talk about its name, it is named after two important rivers, Brahmaputra, which is a transboundary river in India, and uh, Moskova, a river in Russia. Brahmos is known as fastest cruise missile in the world, as claimed by Brahmos aerospace system. If you talk about cruise missile here, cruise missile has certain differences with the ballistic missile. A cruise missile fly within the Earth atmosphere. It has a high precision and it is guided missile. Unlike the ballistic missile, which goes beyond the atmosphere, which is unguided, and it has lesser precision strike than the cruise missile. Now we are going to move one more important fact here, that India has recently signed a contract to provide Brahmos cruise missile to the Philippines. It is very much important development as far as Indian defense industry is concerned. And if you talk about geopolitics here, India and China are having a confrontation on the border, and recently more than 10,000 Indian troops, were being deployed along the border. So it shows that there is still tension on the border, and in this context as well, it becomes very much important because Philippines has also maritime dispute with the China. So in this context also it becomes important. Now we are going. Recently, we at the beginning we talked about Cabinet Committee on Security. So we will also learn about this important committee. This committee is being headed by the Prime Minister. It also includes Minister of Defence, Minister of Finance, Minister of External Affairs, and Minister of Home Affairs. So these are very much important ministries in the government of India. If you talk about the role of the Cabinet Committee on Security, it takes important decision as far as India's defense expenditure, national security, and it makes some important appointments. So it's a very much important committee as far as India is concerned. Now, when you talk about number of cabinet committees, there are 8 cabinet committees. There are 8 cabinet committees. All cabinet committees except Cabinet Committee on Accommodation and Parliamentary Affairs are headed by the Prime Minister. It means that only 2 committees, that is Cabinet Committee on Accommodation and Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs, is not headed by the Prime Minister. And if you talk about Cabinet Committee on Accommodation, this committee is being headed by the Honorable Home Minister, and Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs is being headed by the Defence Minister. So out of 8 committees, 6 committees are headed by the Prime Minister, and 2 committees, that is Accommodation and Parliamentary Affairs, are headed by the 2 other ministers. Before wrapping up, we will also learn about some important facts about Brahmaputra, because we talked about during our uh, session. If you talk about Brahmaputra, it's a transboundary river. It has origin in Tibet, Himalaya. After crossing the Tibet, it enters the Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, and Bangladesh. It is very much important. In Bangladesh, this same river is known as Jamuna. This river also causes huge flood in the state of Assam. These are some important facts about the Brahmaputra. We have already